Part 1. The Swans of Moonlight. Long ago, far from busy roads and loud cities, there was a lake hidden beyond the edge of a quiet kingdom. It did not shine brightly during the day. It waited. Tall trees leaned inward as if protecting it. Reeds whispered secrets to the water. When the wind passed, the lake answered only with small ripples. Never rushing, never loud. At night, everything changed. The moon rose slowly, and silver light rested on the water's surface. The lake became a mirror, holding the sky without breaking it. It was a place where time softened, where thoughts slowed, where even worries seemed to grow tired and lie down. Few people came here, but the lake remembered everyone who did. As darkness settled, white shapes appeared on the water. Swans. They moved gently, their bodies gliding as if carried by the lake itself. Their wings brushed the moonlight, leaving soft reflections behind. They never argued, they never rushed. Among them was one swan whose presence felt different. Her name was Odette. She swam with quiet grace, her eyes reflecting more than the night sky. She seemed to listen not only to the lake, but to something deeper. When the moon climbed higher, the air shifted. Magic, old and careful, loosened its hold, and Odette stepped onto the shore as a young woman. Odette stood barefoot by the water. The night wrapped around her gently, as if it knew her well. By day, she belonged to the lake as a swan. By night, she remembered who she truly was. Long ago, a spell had been placed upon her and the others who shared the lake. It was not born of anger, but of control. Not of noise, but of silence. The spell bound them to waiting, waiting for night, waiting for truth, waiting for someone who would listen. Odette did not fill her nights with bitterness. She learned patience. She watched stars rise one by one. She listened to the water breathe against the shore. She learned that some answers arrive only when you stop chasing them. Part 2. A prince who walked too far on one quiet evening. A young prince wandered beyond the palace grounds. The palace was full of voices, expectations, and choices made too quickly. His days felt crowded. His thoughts felt heavy. Without planning to, he followed a narrow path into the forest. Leaves shifted beneath his feet. The air cooled, and then he saw the lake. He stopped. Something in him grew still. Moonlight shimmered across the water. Swans moved like living reflections. And near the shore stood Odette. They did not speak at once. Some meetings ask for silence first. When they finally spoke, their voices were soft. Odette did not rush her story. The prince did not interrupt. She spoke of the spell, of days spent as feathers and wings, of nights that belonged to memory and thought. The prince listened, not to solve, not to promise, but simply to understand. In that listening, something gentle formed. Not excitement, not urgency, trust. Part 3. Nights of quiet return. The prince returned the next night. And the night after that, they spoke of small things, of how the lake changed with the wind, of how the moon looked different each evening, of how waiting could feel long, but also full. Odette warned him. Some promises free. Some promises bind forever. Truth mattered. The prince did not answer lightly. He learned that love spoken too quickly often forgets how to listen. The night of choice arrived quietly. No thunder, no sudden sign, just candlelight at the palace and moonlight at the lake. The prince remembered Odette's calm eyes, her steady voice, her patience. He chose truth, not because it was easy, but because it was right. The spell began to loosen, not with force, but like frost melting at dawn. Part 4. Dawn without chains, morning came softly. Mist hovered above the lake. Birds stirred among the trees. Odette stood at the shore. No longer bound by shadow or moon, the swans lifted into the sky, their wings catching the first light of day. Freedom arrived not as a rush, but as a deep breath finally released. Odette stepped beyond the lake. She learned the rhythm of walking, the sound of voices spoken close by, the warmth of mornings that did not depend on night. She did not forget the lake. Some places protect you, even after they no longer hold you. The prince learned, too, that love does not demand, that truth does not shout, that waiting is not weakness. He learned to choose carefully, to listen fully, to promise only what he could keep. Part 5. The lake that remained. The lake did not disappear. It stayed quiet, watching at night. Moonlight still rests on its surface, not with magic born of spells, but with the calm of a story complete. The reeds still whisper, the water still listens, and so the night settles. The lake grows still, the sky grows wide, and sleep, like moonlight on water, arrives gently. Nothing rushes, nothing pulls, only quiet remains. The lake rests, the night listens, and sleep comes softly